Alright guys, so I have 50-50 nitromethanol, which is 50% nitromethane, 50% ethanol. E85, 85% ethanol, 15% gas. C85, same thing except refined. So you're basically getting aviation fuel. Let's see. This one is 93 octane, I believe, the gas, and this one is 105. So that is a big difference between the two. So I have the same thing in the jars back there, C85, E85, and 50-50. And I got this big jar because these two brand new carbs, they're taking a bath. We'll leave those for 4 weeks and see how bad they corrode. Alright, so I'm going to leave these 3 open and we're going to see how they evaporate and if they separate. So these will be set aside. We're going to see if the oil mix separates out of this. This is just standard Lucas 2-cycle semi-synthetic, and this comes pre-mixed for RC cars. So the green is just oil that they already added to it. Okay, so alright, aluminum. Alright, we've got some ball bearings. Alright, got 3 steel nuts. 3 galvanized springs. 3 pieces of shrink tubing. Connectors, they're brass kind. We're going to throw these in. They have an acrylic grommet on them as well, since people said acrylic disintegrates. 3 pieces of bicycle tire tube. I have standard gasket material. And we're going to cap these. And we are going to leave all this for 4 weeks. And we'll see what happens to it. Alright. Make sure those are all mixed up. Alright. So these will sit. And I want to show you, I got each one with a line so we could see how much they evaporate. There's exactly 2 cups of ethanol, of E85, C85, and then the 50-50 blend. So we'll see which ones evaporate the most and what's left over, and we'll see what corrodes and what doesn't. And then we'll take a look at these 2 brand new carbs in 4 weeks from now, and we will see what devastation actually happens. Alright, I'll give you an update in a couple weeks. Alright, so I took down the 3. We're going to see how much they've evaporated after 7 days. The E85 and 50-50 nitro methanol. The C85 is not evaporating as much so far. I don't see any separation yet. Yeah, I wish I had a place to put these where I could, like, you know, just watch them. So I gotta be really careful not to, like, mix them up when I move them. There's the E85. This is 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks and 2 weeks. I don't see any separation in these yet.
But this one, it's got something going on there, which it looks like it's starting to separate some. Alright, we'll get back to you in another week and see what happens. Alright, so this is kind of interesting. We are getting a deep blue, and this one's a little bit more. This is the E85, C85. I don't notice any visual separation of the oil. It is definitely, I think, getting more concentrated though now. This one has a very thick, like gelatin type thing going on here throughout the liquid. So it's like starting to separate, I think. I don't know. Not really sure. You can see the ring though. But anyways, that's where we're at so far, and it's definitely interesting. So there's the other ones up there, and we'll give those another week yet and see where those are at. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I figured this would have separated by now. So, alright. At this point, we're getting into some really interesting stuff now. It's evaporating quite a bit. I'd say maybe there's 3/4, 2/3 of a cup, maybe, left. So this one is actually separating into 3 parts. If you can see, there's some stuff on the bottom, middle, and top. So that is the 50/50 nitro methanol. My guess is there's oil, water, and still some methanol in there. Alright, now this one is the C85. It's getting really thick and dark, but I can't even show you guys, but in the bottom there, it's starting to get some like weird sediment or something down below. And the same thing is happening with the E85. So there's like something in the bottom of these. They're really hard to see. I think we're going to let this go another week and see what the end result is here. This is getting pretty interesting though, to see what's left over. So I want to show you the end results after 6 weeks. They're all mixed up now. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to see what happens when it fully evaporates. So, anyways, this is like everything evaporated. There is like a sludge in the bottom and some white crystal structures left over. And I think the rest of that is like oil and water at this point. Or something. I don't know. Anyways, just interesting. This is E85. This is 6 weeks. Here is the C85, which is supposed to be super pure form of that. This has more crystalline structure in it. Very thick. It's like syrup. So, interesting. And this is the 50% nitro methanol and the 50% ethanol. So this one is just, it's like hand lotion. Absolutely weird. So I think there's probably, if you just see it, pretty weird. But yeah, it's like hand lotion at this point. It's pretty cool. Anyways, alright, so that's just 6 weeks. I did this just for fun. A little extra. I wanted to see what happens when it fully evaporates. So that's pretty funky. This is like syrup. This sounds like hand lotion. It's gross. So as a control subject, because a lot of people don't understand, if you keep these sealed in an airtight container, they don't evaporate and they don't go bad. It takes a very long time. So these have been in there for quite a while now. Jeez. We're looking at months, not weeks. I filled these right up to the top. And it is still right up to the top, like the day I put it in. So that is 50/50. And it's VP 50/50 nitromethanol with 50% ethanol gas. Alright, now this is E85. This is mixed with 2-stroke oil. This has been in this. Wow, I sealed this tight. Sorry, that lid was tight. Alright, so I've had this in here now. I did this back in August. We're now in November 20th. So it's just like the day I did it. Didn't separate or anything either. So this has been a couple months. It's mixed. Looks perfectly fine. So this is E85 40-1. Nice. So that's still good. And this is still good. I mean, nothing separated or looks bad like the other ones. They're both crystal clear still. So alright guys, so here's the 50/50 nitromethanol and all this stuff in there. Let's see what happens. Alright, so here's the gasket material. There is nothing degraded about it. Alright, let's get all this stuff out. Give me a minute. Alright, here's the rubber. Looks fully intact. Alright, let's get this piece of aluminum. I don't notice any curl. It actually looks cleaner than when it went in. Believe it or not. Alright, here is the galvanized spring. If it'll focus, it looks great. Don't notice any corrosion on that. Alright, here is the wire connector. Alright, let's see, here's the nut. It doesn't look bad at all. And let's see what we got. If I can get this one out. Alright. Here is the piece of shrink tubing. It did not eat it. And mind you, this is acrylic. It did not eat that either. It looks pretty decent. And I'll list the ones in here being a pain, so give me a minute. There we go. And there's the bearing. And that did corrode some. So, Interesting. There is some... Actually, you know what it looks like? Let me see. I think it's actually the grease from the bearing came out of it. Yep. This is actually grease from the bearing grease. Ah, so it pulled the grease out of the bearing, which is kind of interesting. Interesting. All right. So that is the 50/50 nitromethanol. All right, next up on the chopping blocks, E85. Let's get out the material first. Camo. Oop. This one's being elusive. Give me a sec. There we go. All right. Gasket material looks fine. All right. Oh, here's the aluminum. Looks like when I put it in. Here is the rubber tubing. It's intact. Alright, here is the wire connector. Has the acrylic thing, no problem. Alright, snag this ball bearing. Alright, that looks super clean. A little bit of grease around the edges, so I think it dissolves the grease that's in the bearings. And that could be a good reason why they fail. So that's kind of interesting. It looks like the grease itself is coming out of the bearing. Like it dissolves it. So that's interesting. Here is the galvanized spring. Crystal clean. Yeah, we don't want to put our hands all up in that. Alright. We're going to get that nut out. Nut looks fine. There is a very tiny bit on this actually. Hold on. If we can focus on it. If you can see right there, there's a little bit. So there's a little bit of corrosion on that steel nut. Very, very small amount though. Alright. Getting the shrink tube out. Alright, there's a shrink tube. Looks fine. So, that was E85. And, I mean, all in all, the stuff doesn't look that bad. So, this stuff's been in forever. I was going to do 4 weeks, and this was back in August, so September, October, and November, and this is November 10th. So, it's been in there a few months. I've got sidetracked and did not just get time to do this, but yeah, a few months, and everything looks fine. Alright guys, here is the C85. I'm going to pull out this stuff next. Alright, let's get this gasket material. Alright, looks fully intact. No splitting, deterioration, or any of the above. Here is the rubber bicycle tube. Looks fine. Let's Here is the piece of aluminum. I don't notice any signs of corrosion. Alright, here's the galvanized spring. It doesn't look like it ate anything off of that. Here is the fitting. The wire connector, my bad. It didn't corrode it at all, and it did not eat the acrylic. Alright, here is the nut. It's a steel nut, didn't corrode. Looks fine. Alright. Okay, so what happened to all these? It corrodes everything. Alright. Give me one sec. Trying to get the bearing out. Oh, just teared it. Sorry, folks. Alright. The bearing looks perfectly fine. There's no signs of corrosion or anything on that. Looks very clean. Alright. And then we got the piece of shrink tubing. Looks fine. So there is no corrosion on this. No corrosion on any of these metal surfaces, even the brass. So I don't know. And I did this for a long time. I had a couple projects go on. Some stuff happened with some of my bikes, and they stayed in a really long time. So there's no corrosion. So you know everyone's going to want to see these. These are the star of the show, right? There's one. True. It's a very acidy smell to this stuff. Alright. Let's put this aside. And by the way, I did not eat plastic. This is just a dog cookie jar, is the only thing I had. If you do see, a little bit of debris is floating around in there. I just want to note that it was crystal clean when I put it all in. Alright. Alright, so what do we need for surgery here? Give me one sec, I gotta get in the drawer here. Alright, I had to get a screwdriver out. Let's pop the bowl on this. It's probably gonna have shit in it. Overall, outside, I don't notice anything. Oh yeah, a little in there. Oh yeah, I had it in there. I don't notice anything traumatic. Nothing crazy, didn't eat any seals, nothing's corroded. It didn't eat the float. Well, I don't see anything super bad with that. Let me open this up. Alright. Didn't hurt the slide, and it all looks clean. I'm not really sure. I don't see anything devastating over that. And we got this little thing. Everyone says the diaphragm goes. And this carb's brand new. It's been in there for weeks. Let's see if it corroded. Now, there is some stuff about if you left it in there and it, you know, evaporates. As you saw from when it evaporated, it corrodes the shit out of everything. I don't think it's so much corrosion. I think it's actually the stuff breaking down. This looks fine. Ooh. I don't know if we can open this. Come on. I mean, it's there. It's fine. Is it gonna let me? Are we gonna destroy a new carb? It looks that way. Oh yeah, we're gonna. Let's see what it looks like in there. It's crystal clean in there. It's nothing bad. It's not bad at all in that. I don't want to go any further because then I'll damage it. It is brand new, so we want to kind of keep it that way. But yeah, it didn't hurt any of these. Oh, if you can see, there's a tiny, tiny bit of corrosion looking shit right there. I don't notice anything crazy. But right there, a little tiny bit of some kind of corrosion going on. Oh, for science, right? Boy, I would have thought these would have popped easier. Oh well, we're at that point. Let's rip it. Alright. Yeah, right here, a little bit of corrosion in here. And this was brand new. So, let's see. It didn't need any of these seals. These seals are good. They stayed. A little bit of corrosion around there too. Right there. So, I'm not really sure what all that's about. Other than that, it looks really clean. None of the brass, any of that. As far as this one goes, a little bit of corrosion too. Now that I'm really looking at it, as you can see, very light. I'm not really sure. That might have been just crap. But all in all, I mean, it isn't bad for how long it's been in there. But it didn't rust or anything like people said crazy. So, there you go. We destroyed a brand new carb just to see if it did anything to the inside. It did very little. Now, my guess is that people leave the ethanol in these and it dries out like it started in that first test they did about evaporating. Then it leaves a bunch of deposits and shit in the carb and it clogs it. It's really what I think goes on. And from what I read and stuff, and people just think it's corroding, but it's actually the stuff breaking down and, you know, ending up on deposited on the aluminum and stuff. Alright, but yeah, nothing on any of this.